Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that I'm really excited to film for you guys because today we are going to be doing my second full face of VIEVE makeup. So in today's video, we're going to be trying out a bunch more VIEVE makeup, but I have already filmed a full haul and one full makeup look on VIEVE, so I'll leave those links down below in the description bar. But if you're curious to see how this look turns out, then just continue watching. Okay, so starting off with primer, I've got this one right here. This is the VIEVE Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer. I've actually been using all the products that I tried out in my first VIEVE look all week and I've been really enjoying them, so I can't wait to use this one again. So I'm going to start off with about a pump of product. I'm going to massage that through my fingers. But here is what the texture looks like. As you can see, it's kind of a luminous kind of gel cream. And I'm going to start massaging that on my skin. So next, for a little bit more glow before I go into my foundation, I'm going to apply a little bit of my VIEVE Skin Dew Glow Multitasker. So I'm going to take about that much product and I'm going to start massaging that onto the tops of my cheekbones, above my brow, down the center of my nose, and my cupid's bow. So seeing as I've got quite a lot of that product left on my fingertips, I think I want to try mixing it into our foundation today. So for foundation, I'm using my Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Medium to Full Coverage Foundation in 115 Light Medium. So I'm going to take about a pump of the foundation. And then I think today I want to use my Katie Jane Hughes and Spectrum brushes again. So starting off with the number 3 brush, I'm going to start mixing those two together. And I'm going to start evenly placing that along my face. And then to blend it out, I'm taking my Dose of Colors Seamless Beauty Sponge, picking up the rest of the product, and I'm going to start blending out the foundation. And then for concealer, I'm going in with my Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer in 14 Light Medium. So I'm going to take a little bit underneath my eyes, center of my forehead, bridge of my nose, cupid's bow, and chin. And then to blend it out, I'm taking this brush right here, which is the number 6, and I'm going to start blending out that concealer. And I'm going to blend the excess on my eyelid. So moving on to powder, I'm taking my MERCIER Translucent Loose Setting Powder. To set the under eye, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 8, and I'm going to take what's left in the cap, and I'm going to start setting the under eye. I'm also going to start setting the forehead, the center of the nose, and the chin. And then to set the rest of the face, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 1, and a little bit more product from the cap. And I'm going to start setting the rest of my face. So for bronzer, I've got 2 more shades to try of the VIEVE Modern Bronzers. So I have Tan and Deep. So here are the 2 bronzer duos next to each other. This one here is Tan and this one here is Deep. So starting off with the shade Tan, I'm taking my Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum brush number 5 and I'm tapping into the bottom shade, which is Tan 2. And I'm going to start contouring this side of my cheek. I'm also going to start taking it along the forehead. And then going back into the palette, I'm taking this shade up here. And I'm going to start bronzing up my skin. So I'm going to take that brush and wipe it off on a tissue. And then I'm taking the other palette in the shade Deep on the same brush, and I'm really lightly going to tap into the darker shade. Really tap that off. And I'm going to really lightly start contouring my cheek. And then I'm going to start moving on to my forehead. And then once again, going back into the same palette, I'm taking the lighter shade very, very lightly. And I'm going to start bronzing up my skin. Same thing on the forehead. So once again, for shade reference, here are the two shades on my skin. So here is the shade Tan, and then here is the shade Deep. So as you imagine, Deep is probably a little bit too dark for my skin tone and a little bit more red toned. I would say I can get away with Tan on a lighter hand, but here are the two shades next to each other. And then for my nose, I'm taking the shade Tan and I'm mixing a bit of both of them and popping that down the center of my nose. So moving on to blush, I still have 4 shades to try of the VIEVE Sunset blushes. So I have Cherub, Sorbet, Malbec, and Piazza. So I think today I want to try out the shade Cherub. So here is what the outer packaging looks like. It is so beautiful. I love the black faux leather and the gold hardware. And then here is what the shade Cherub looks like. Cherub is such a beautiful kind of neutral mid-tone pink. So to apply the blush, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 4 brush, and tapping it straight into the blush. And I'm going to start applying that to my cheeks. I'm going to take a little bit more of that on the brush and apply it to the bridge of my nose. So to highlight, we have 2 more shades of the VIEVE Nova Glow highlighters. So we have Bijou and Riches. I think today I want to try out the shade Bijou. The outer packaging of the highlighters looks just like the blushes, only it's a little bit bigger. And then here is what the shade Bijou looks like. It is such a beautiful white toned yellow gold. So to apply the highlight, I'm taking my second number 8 brush and I'm tapping straight into the highlighter. And I'm going to start highlighting my cheekbones. I'm also going to start highlighting above my brow, the bridge of my nose, and my Cupid's bow. You can see just how blinding these highlights are, so truly a little bit goes such a long way. Okay, so moving on to eyes, I zoomed you guys in and I filled in my brows to save us some time. But starting off, we've got the VIEVE eye ones. So I have the shades Vanilla, Sand, and Hazelnut. So I think I'm going to start off with the shade Sand. So I'm going to start taking the shade Sand and popping that all over my eyelid. And then to blend it out, I didn't get the chance to use this one in my last tutorial. This is the Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes number 10 brush. And I'm going to start blending out that cream shadow. So next I'm taking the shade Hazelnut and I'm going to start running it along my upper lash line. And I'm pulling it up in a bit of a wing shape. And then taking the number 12 brush, I'm going to start buffing it out. And then lastly, taking the shade Vanilla, I'm popping that on my inner corners. and underneath the brow. And then to blend that out, I'm taking this brush right here, which is the number 18 brush, and patting that into place. And then for eyeshadow palettes, I've got this one here to try out today. This is the VIEVE the Muse palette. So here is what the outer packaging looks like. And then once you remove the slip, the palette here looks like this. And then when you open up the palette, here is what the inside looks like. So you can see it has a bunch of rosy toned neutrals. So starting off, I'm grabbing this brush right here, which is the number 11, and I'm tapping into the shade Bow from the palette. And I'm going to start popping that through my crease. Next, I'm taking a smaller brush. This is the number 17, and I'm tapping into the shade Mystic. And I'm popping that deeper into my crease. So next I'm taking this brush right here, which is the number 16 brush, and I'm tapping into the shade Velvet. And I'm going to start running that against my upper lash line. And then I'm going to start winging that out too. So next, to add a little bit of shimmer to the eyelid, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 20, and I'm tapping into the shade Regal. And I'm patting that on the outer half of the eyelid. Wow, I love that color so much. And then for the inner half of the lid, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 14 brush, and I'm tapping into the shade Divine. And I'm going to start patting that on the inner half of the eyelid. So for the lower lash line, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 21, and I'm tapping into the shade Source. I'm going to start running that on my lower lash line. To blend out the lower lash line, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 19, and this shadow here called Love. I'm going to start buffing that along the lower lash line to slightly smoke it out. So next I'm going back into the VIEVE Eye Wand in the shade Hazelnut, and I'm going to pop that through my waterline. And then lastly, for the lower lash line, I'm taking this brush here, which is the number 15, and this shadow here called Merlot. And I'm really tightly going to press that against my lower lash line. So that's it for the finished eye look. I've got to say, I am so impressed with the VIEVE eyeshadows. I don't know which one I like more, this palette or the one that we used in our other video, but so far I love the formula of them both. The colors are so beautiful. Once again, we used every shadow but Peony and Finery today. I've got to say though, I'm really impressed, and I know that they're going to make it into my yearly favorites. So I went right ahead and I added some mascara. So next, moving on to lashes. I've got 4 styles of the VIEVE half lashes to try. We've got HL1, HL2, HL3 Whisper, and HL4 Enhance. So I think today let's try out HL2. So here are what the HL2 lashes look like. They are super intense and spiky. I can't wait to try them out. And then to apply them, I want to try out this tool again. This is the VIEVE Lash Applicator tool. So here's what the finished eyes look like with the VIEVE half lashes in HL2. I've got to say, I'm still trying to get the hang of the lash applicator tool because it's a little bit difficult right now, but I do really enjoy these lashes. I think they're so pretty and spiky. So moving on to lips, we still have 5 shades of the VIEVE Modern Lip Definers to try out. So we've got Velvet Sands, Bark, Rumour, Tailored, and Muse. So I think today I want to try out the shade Bark. So I'm taking the shade Bark and I'm going to start lining my lips. So to fill that in, we still have 5 shades of the VIEVE Modern Matte lipsticks to try. So we've got Treasure, 90s, Coming in Hot, Power Suit, and Muse. I think today I want to try out the shade Treasure. So here is what the shade Treasure looks like. It is such a pretty peachy tone nude. So I'm going to go right ahead and apply that on my lips. And then I'm taking the lip liner and I'm blending the two together. And then lastly, for a little bit of gloss, I'm taking my VIEVE Lip Dew Glossy Lip Oil. I'm taking a little bit on my finger. And I'm going to place that on the center of my lip. So yeah guys, this is the finished full face of VIEVE makeup number 2. I had so much fun creating this look and I am so in love with the finished result. I don't know which look I like more, the first one or this one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, then you guys know what to do. Please feel free to leave me a like, comment to leave any requests that you have down below in the comment bar, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell and drag it all the way down to all to become a part of this family and be notified of all my future videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. I think let's try mixing it into my foundation today. My goodness, he needs to get his car checked. And then to blend it out, I'm taking my Dose of Colors Seamly Concealer in the shade Light Medium. What? So once again, oh my goodness, my hands are sweaty. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty.